Well, another COVID lockdown and another project, something to keep me busy. So what I'm going to try and do is I picked up a cheap secondhand fridge slide and I'm going to try and turn it into a drop down fridge slide. So I'm going to have to put some hinging in it and change it out a fair bit. So it's to fit my Coolman 60 litre, 65 litre, 60 litre fridge, whatever size it is. So the first thing I've got to do is pull the actual fridge tray out, and then we can have a look at the drawer slides and go from there, I suppose, see what needs to be done. Okay, so as I said, I've taken the trays out. So the next step is to pull the runners off the sides, pull the crossbars off. I actually have to try and make this a little bit longer. Well, I need the trays a bit longer, more to the point, just because my fridge is slightly longer than what this is meant for. So I need to unbolt all this and give it a good clean. So I've actually already done that. So these come off. I've already taken this one off. This one I've unbolted, and as you can see, I haven't actually cleaned this yet. There's grease and sand and crap in there. So I'll give that a good clean. What I have noticed is the runner stops are both these rubber things here. So they stop the runner going too far. They're both buggered. And unless it's in place with this one here, so you can see that if I just let this go all the way through, so that's the drawer all the way closed, the actual lock mechanism is in too far. So you really only want this hook has to come into contact with this latch. So there's the latch. When I push the unlock mechanism down, it unlatches and the drawer can open. So it's only really got to go in that far. Now if I come back over here, flip this over, that's what the stops are for. So it has to stop there. Now if I let it go all the way through, it's too far. So I need to put another stop in. I'm just going to weld a little bit of box steel here to stop this runner going any further. So I have to do it on both of these, because I don't even know if you can get these as a replacement part. So I'll do that. Once I've cleaned this one up, I'll do that to both of these, and then we'll start making the drop down section. This stuff that I'm using for the hinging portion is just some old scrap that I had around. It's actually was a mounting frame for a basketball ring. This is what it was, and it had all bends in it and stuff, which I heated up with a couple of torches, gas torches, and straightened out. Ended up with this. So what size is this? It's probably like 50. What's that? 50 mil by, I think it's about 5 mil. Yeah, 5 mil, 50 by 5. About 4 mil really. I did have this other stuff that I was going to use. That's only like 30 mil by 4. And I just didn't want any flexing. I mean, that's pretty stiff, but I know this is not going to flex. Just with the weight of the fridge on there. When it's full, the fridge itself, I'm not sure, it's probably 20 odd kilos plus all the food and drink in it. I didn't want any flexing in the hinging mechanism. So there's no way that's going to flex. So this is where we got to. Excuse the welding, I've just got a new welder and I'm just trying to work the thing out. So this will all get cleaned up, obviously. It's in rough at the moment. So what I've done is I've had to extend the actual base to fit my fridge. So I've just put in some angle in here to extend it. This is what the actual hinge will rotate off. So to make sure that the actual pin here is perpendicular to the frame, I've run it all the way through. So obviously I'm going to cut it there to get rid of this section. But I just wanted to make sure it was straight on the frame, so I've done that for both bits. Now the issue I've got here, so here's the front leg, and obviously the back leg there. The issue I've got is when these legs are down, this back leg is going to hit that front leg and sit up. So what I'm going to do is trim this. As long as this section is the same length as this front section, these have to be the same lengths. So if I grab this this one here, so this is the other front. So as long as that is the same length, so I'm going to cut this here and I'm going to angle it up and across. So it's going to have a dog leg in it, so it sits above here, down and back to the hinging point. So I've got to do that for both sides, and then I want to get the thing pretty well mocked up before I clean it all up and tidy up the welds and stuff. So it's just, as I say, it's in rough stage at the moment. I just want to make sure it works before I bother cleaning the thing up. Okay, so this is the end result. So this is the front end of the sliding tray, and as you can see, the way I've put a little kink in that rear arm, so now it's not going to foul on the hinge there at the front. Okay, so I just thought I'd show you what I've used to build some of these mechanisms. So everything that I've used has been recycled. These are the brackets that go onto the runners and then hold on the mechanism there. So these have been built out of just some old solar mounting brackets. So you can see here, this section I've used. I've cut it out, welded it up, some bolts on there. Some of these legs here off the same bracket I've actually used, so this is the handle. I've actually welded up for this section of the handle. So you can see that is actually that. This tube here is an old leg off a trampoline, the handle. The main scissor brackets, as I think I mentioned earlier, this is an old basketball ring mounting bracket that I had, which was obviously quite big, so I've cut that up into sections, welded it up. So everything's been recycled. Sure, you could go buy some flat bar and use that if you wanted, but I just had this stuff laying around, so I just thought I might as well use it. The only thing I bought secondhand was the runners and the frame that was on. Okay, so this is just a test fit. Let's see how it goes. Bit like that with the camera and put this in. Up there, there's a clip that holds this in, just a pin, hold that in there. I just need to trim a bit off here, trim a little bit off there, both sides, but again, just unclick the lock. There it is, then you can access it. What I had to do was put some more bearings under here. So I've got some bearings underneath. Yeah. So they run, obviously, and take the weight off the actual, take the weight off the slides. So the weight's actually sitting on the bearings there. So there's one front, one back on both sides. Just to get the weight off the main runners. Locks in. Okay, so just a few little modifications. Trim some of this off. I've still got actually just what I've done is just tack weld some of these just so they don't loosen off, and that's it. So this is the fridge that I'm going to use the slide for, and what I ended up having to do, this is pretty much the finished product. I ended up having to actually make it wider as well, because the width of this tray, when I got it, when it was hinging, these arms were actually rubbing on the protective cover of the fridge. So I actually widened it by 50 mil, front and back obviously. There's a locking pin I've put in here as well, just to lock this. Just for when you're traveling, just so it doesn't go all over the place or it doesn't drop down. Now, because I started with bare metal, this was bare metal. There was a powder coating on the tray, but there was some rust, so I gave it a bit of a rub back. I ended up covering the bare metal with some etch primer, just to prime it. Then the black tray, I just used some metal shield, satin black, and all of the sides and the handle I've coated it in a hammer finish, rust guard hammer finish charcoal. Just it gives it that texture finish. It hides any, bad welds or any bad joints. Although you can still see some bad welds there, but it's just a bit of a hard wearing finish, and it won't show any scratches, or show less scratches anyway. So that's it. Hope you enjoy that. If you like, subscribe. Thank you.